I've seen a lot of people discuss which particular eras of the Star Trek timeline that they'd like to see explored in future installments. Now, there's a lot of eagerness, for example, among fans to return to Jonathan Archer and the Enterprise era, a show set 10 years after Picard in the early 25th century, which is my personal favorite setting for a new show, or even the Khan series in the 1990s. But there's one particular era of the Star Trek timeline that is not often explored and which we know comparatively little about, and that is the so-called Lost era. Now, I'm not here to talk about any rumors about the new TV shows coming out. There's plenty of content on YouTube like that. What I do want to do is focus on, from a historical perspective, what exactly is the Lost era. The Lost Era is the name given by Pocketbook's editor Marco Palmieri to the period of Star Trek history between the apparent death of James Kirk in 2293 and the launch of the Enterprise D in the early 2360s. We get brief glimpses of events during the Lost Era, mostly in the form of flashbacks of major characters. I touched on several of the major historical events that characterize the Lost Era in my video, Star Trek's Future History 24th Century. Among the notable milestones in this period of time include the Tomed incident, which preceded a 53-year period of isolation by the Romulan Star Empire, the beginning of the occupation of Bajor by the Cardassian Union, the service of the USS Stargazer under Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and the launch of the Ambassador-class USS Enterprise C under Captain Rachel Garrett. Now, I've been seeing a lot of love for Rachel Garrett and the Enterprise C among Star Trek fans lately. Garrett is the first female captain of an Enterprise, of course, and she and her crew are most widely known for their sacrifice at the Battle of Narendra III, where the Federation defended a Klingon colony from massacre by Romulan warbirds. We get a taste of the Lost Era and learn a lot about the Enterprise C in the Next Generation episode, Yesterday's Enterprise. Now, this may be one of the single most consequential episodes of the entire show and thus of the entire franchise. In Yesterday's Enterprise, a temporal rift created by the detonation of a photon torpedo hurtles the Enterprise C forward in time from 2344 to an alternate 2366. And in this alternate timeline, the Enterprise D is a battleship. And with the help of Guinan and members of the Enterprise D crew, the Enterprise C is shepherded back to its original time so that its role in history, and thus the timeline itself, can be rectified. The episode is notable for bringing back Lieutenant Natasha Yar, played by Denise Crosby. Yar had been rather unceremoniously killed off in the Season 1 episode, Skin of Evil.